Daf Yomi, Tractate Bava, page 57a at the top of the page, with the words Hachazira L'Makom Shirena. If one found a lost item and he returned it to a place where its owner will see it, he is no longer responsible to deal with it. If the item was stolen or lost, the finder bears financial responsibility to compensate for the loss. Rav Yosef states his objection. What is meant by the expression was stolen or lost? Does it not mean that it was stolen from the finder's house or lost from his house before he returned it? Since he is liable for theft or loss, it appears that he has the same status as a paid bailee. In other words, a shomer. Rabbah rejects this challenge. No, it means that it was stolen or lost from the place where the finder returned it, in which case even an unpaid bailee is liable on the grounds of negligence. Rav Yosef challenges Rabbah's response. But the Braita teaches that the finder is no longer responsible to deal with it, indicating that failing to deal with it is not negligence, and the finder has no further responsibility for it. Rabbah said to him, with what are we dealing here? At the end of the Braita, where it teaches that the finder is liable, we are dealing with a case where he returned it at midday, which is a time when the owner of the lost item is not typically present. Therefore, the finder has not returned the item properly, and if it is then stolen or lost, he bears responsibility even if he is an unpaid bailee. And the Braita is teaching two separate halachot, and this is what it is teaching. If the finder returned it in the morning, when people are typically present, to a place where the owner of the lost item will see it, and the owner typically enters and exits, and it is likely that he will see it, the finder is no longer responsible to deal with it, nor does he bear responsibility if it is then stolen or lost. By contrast, the finder returned it at midday to a place where the owner will see it, since it is a time when the owner does not typically enter and exit, and will not see it. If it is then stolen or lost, the finder bears financial responsibility for the loss. Rav Yosef again raised an objection to the opinion of Rabbah from that which is taught in the continuation of the Braita. The finder of the lost item always bears responsibility if the item is stolen or lost until he returns it to the owner's property. What does the word always add? Is it not teaching that even if the lost item was stolen from the finder's house, he is liable? If so, learn from this that one who finds a lost item is considered like a paid bailee. Rabbah said to Rav Yosef in reply, I concede to you in a case of one looking after lost animals that he is liable if they are stolen or lost. The reason is that since the animals have already taken to the habit of walking out of their usual path and not behaving in their typical manner, they require extra safeguarding, corresponding to that required of a paid bailee. But with regard to other items that are lost, those that do not move by themselves, the finder bears no greater responsibility to secure them than does an unpaid bailee. Rabbah raised an objection to the opinion of Rav Yosef. The verse states in the context of returning lost items, return them, Deuteronomy 22:1, repeating the verb hashev teshivim. The sages expounded as follows. From the word hashev I have derived only that one may return the item to the house of the owner of the lost article. From where do I derive that even if one returns it to his garden or to his ruin, that is an unused structure on his property, he has discharged his obligation, is no longer responsible for an item that he found? For this the verse states, Teshivim. repeating the verb for emphasis to teach that he fulfills the mitzvah by returning the item to any place belonging to the owner. I mean, potentially you could have derived it a different way. You could have said, Hashif to Shivim, it's in a double language because to mean that you should actually return it to him, that you should really return it, not just return it anywhere. I mean, they decided to go that way, but you could really go the different way. Anyway, okay, this is the way they decided to do it. What is the meaning of the phrase in the Braita, to his garden was ruin? If we say that the finder returned the lost item to the garden of the owner that is secured as properly enclosed, or to his ruin that is secured, it would be unnecessary to state this, as it is the same as his house, since these spaces are secured the same way as his house. Rather, it is obvious that it means that he returned them to his garden that is not secured, or to his ruin that is not secured. And nevertheless, the finder is no longer liable for subsequent damage or theft of the found item. Conclude from it that a finder is like an unpaid bailee in terms of his liabilities, and this reduced level of safeguarding when the returning the item is sufficient. Rav Yosef said to him, actually one can explain the Braita as referring to a case where the finder placed it in the owner's garden that is secured, or his ruin that is secured, and with regard to that which poses a difficulty to you, that this is the same as his house, there is nevertheless a novelty in this ruling. This teaches us that in this case we do not require the owner's knowledge that the article has been returned, and this is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Elazar. See how we're doing on time here. Okay, got a good 8 minutes left. Okay, let's continue. As Rabbi Elazar says, all those who are obligated to return lost items to owners, for example, bailee or thief, require the owner's knowledge that they are returning it, except for one fulfilling the mitzvah of returning a lost item. This is because the Torah included many permitted ways of returning lost items by employing the double expression Hashef Teshivim, which serves to permit the return of the lost item without the knowledge of the owner. Again, why is it going that way? Why is it not Hashef Teshivim? It's double, meaning you have to return it to him. It's Hashef Teshivim, not just return it, but make sure he gets it. Why don't you darshan it that way? Okay. Anyway, Abaye said to Rav Yosef, and you, do you not hold that one safeguarding a lost item is like an unpaid bailee? But doesn't Rabbi Chia bar Abba say that Rabbi Yochanan says with regard to one who finds a lost item, but falsely states the claim that a thief stole the item from him and takes an oath to that effect, he must pay a double payment, that is, twice the value of the item? And if it enters your mind that the finder of a lost item is considered to have the same status as a paid bailee, why in such a case must he pay a double payment? He should be required to pay only the principal, since a paid bailee is liable in any event if the article is stolen or lost, and he did not stand to benefit from the claim that the item was stolen. Rav Yosef said to him, with what are we dealing here? It is with a case where the finder took a false oath stating the claim that the deposit was taken by an armed bandit, and in such a case even a paid bailee is exempt. Consequently, his claim would have absolved him from liability, and if the item is subsequently found in his possession, he is liable to pay double for his false claim that it was stolen. Abaye said to him, but an armed bandit has the status of a robber and not a thief. So according to this explanation, why did Rabbi Yochanan state that it was stolen by a thief? Good question. Rabbi Abaye said to him, the reason that only a thief pays the double payment and not a robber is that a thief denigrates God by, so to speak, by exhibiting the fear of people, by stealing surreptitiously while not exhibiting fear of heaven. This is in contrast to a robber who robs openly. Accordingly, the reason that I say that an armed bandit is considered a thief is since he hides from people rather than stealing openly. Although he in fact does steal openly since he does so by employing a weapon, he also exhibits fear of people and is akin to a thief. Therefore, armed bandits are liable to pay a double payment as is a thief, and claim that the deposit was seized by armed bandits is considered to be the same as a claim that it was stolen by thieves. Consequently, since a paid bailee is absolved by means of such a claim, if it is determined that his claim was false, he must pay double. Esvei, Abai raised an objection to the opinion of Rav Yosef from that which is taught in a Braita.